Hey guys, so today we are going to do a review and try on of the Bad Habits Aura palette by Shop Hush, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. The color scheme is generally like the same, but I think there are a couple of shades that are a bit different from the original palette, but even so, they are still pretty close. So this eyeshadow palette contains 14 eyeshadows and it retails for $12 on the Shop Hush website. You do get free shipping if you spend $25 or more, and this palette is made in China. It has a net weight of 0.035 ounces or 0.99 grams. It is cruelty-free, but there are no vegan claims on it. So if you've watched my previous video on the Shop Hush haul, you would know that I swatched this palette and I was super impressed by the pigmentation that I got with my finger swatches. And so we will see how it performs on the eyes when I'm using brushes. So looking at the color scheme, I figured that I could use all of these shades on my face except for like foundation and lips, and so that is what I'm going to do like in the clips that are going to follow. And spoiler alert, I did use pretty much all of the shades. So I did review the shades as I was trying it on, but if you would like to skip ahead of the tutorial, then do jump ahead using the timestamps in the description box below. Right, so first I'm going to use the black shade called Immortal to do my eyebrows. So when swatching this shade on my arm, it looked pretty good. Like, I thought the black shade in this palette was really nice, and I think it did a great job like acting as brow powder for my eyebrows, and it went on very nicely. A little bit definitely went a long way. There isn't really a brow bone highlight shade for me to use, so I'm going to use Dream State, which is kind of like a beige, yellowy beige, to set my eyes. And on darker skin, this shade can actually act as a transition shade. Now I'm going to attempt to use the neon yellow called Energy, and I'll just place this in like the transition area. So this shade swatched very sheer and it's applying very sheer as well, which I do not mind, but if say you wanted to pack it on your lids, it may not work out very well. And then I'm going to take Awakening, which is a peachy pink, and also place it on the transition. And I'm going to darken it with Mystique, which is sort of a darker version of Awakening. And I'm going to focus it more on the outer corners and bring it in. Just taking Energy again and swiping it over to blend everything out. Now I'm going to take Soul, which is like a metallic gold, and I'm going to place it on the inner half of my eyes. My brush may not be picking it up very well, but I'll use my fingers later. Now I'm going to use Ecstasy, which is like the metallic green, and I'm going to place it on the center of my eyelids. And then I'm going in with Soul again to blend everything out and also add more gold to the inner half. And then I'm going to take Vibe, which is like a dark brown, and see if it can help to deepen the outer corners. Otherwise, I will add on either Destiny or Immortal. So that is using Vibe, and I'm not totally satisfied with it, so I think I will add Destiny. It's a shimmery metallic purple, so we'll just add some purple to the eye look. So from what it looks like, it seems like Destiny is a very blackened purple shade, and I mean, I'm not sure if you can tell if it looks purple on camera, but in person it definitely has like that indigo look to it. There is a lot of fallout with Destiny, and I guess that is expected because it didn't swatch very nicely as well. It felt a bit dry and powdery, and it went on patchy on my arm. For my inner corners, I'm going to use Soul again, and I'm going to bring it down slightly to my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Ethereal, which is a lighter metallic purple, sort of like a cool tone purpley grey. So I placed Ethereal on the outer corners of my lower lash line, and then I'm going to join it with Soul using the shade Manifest. And then just taking Awakening and blending everything out. And that is the finished eye look. So at this point you can use Immortal to line your eyes and add some definition, but I'm going to use my typical gel liner to do my winged liner and add some lashes. Alright, now for my cheeks, on a fluffy brush, I'm going to take Haze, which is like a mauvey pink purple, and use it as blush. And for bronzer, I'm going to use Vibe, which is the dark brown. And for highlight, we will use Phenomenon, which is the white shimmery shade. It has got like a gold shift to it. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you guys like it. I actually love it. I just have no idea when I would wear such a look because it is so intense and colorful. And I finished off my lips with the Essence Metal Shock lipsticks. I'm using number 6 and number 7, which is a blue and a green, to make this teal shade, and so it is a metallic lipstick. So I did do reviews on the shades as I was using them, but if you missed out on that, I'm going to recap everything. And since the shades or the color scheme in here are so similar to the original Anastasia Prism palette, I think what I'm going to say can apply to the Prism palette as well. So at first glance, this may look very dark, themed, smoky and intimidating, but if you actually remove the pops of color, which are Ecstasy, the metallic green, Destiny, which is the black and purple, and Energy, which is the neon yellow, I think this palette is very workable into your everyday eye looks. You can create neutral eyes, or you can create like eyes with pops of color using this palette. So the transition shades are Awakening, Haze, Mystique, and if you're a darker skin tone, you can use Dream State. And then Vibe and Immortal can be used as darkening outer corner shades or whatever. And Ethereal, Soul, Manifest and Radiate will act as your center of the lid metallic shades. Phenomenon can be used as an inner corner highlight or brow bone highlight. If you use it as a cheekbone highlight, do take note that this is very blinding and it can appear as like a strip of white gold on your cheekbones, but it doesn't contain any like chunky glitter, so it actually is a very nice face highlighter. So to use Ecstasy and Destiny, you can actually place them on your lids like I did today, or you can use them as lower lash line colors, which is a more wearable alternative if you do not like to venture out into a super colorful look. Energy can be used as a transition shade or an inner corner highlight. You can try packing it on your lids for like a super neon kind of look, but with this particular palette, I'm not too sure if that will work because so far it seems pretty sheer, and it works great as a transition shade. So yeah. So if you've watched my Shop Hush haul video, I did mention that I used the Aphrodite palette and the Sugar palette and I wasn't too impressed by those. But with this palette, I'm actually really impressed and shocked at how well the shadows performed. They swatched really nicely on my arm with my fingers as well. So when you feel these shadows, they feel very nice, buttery and smooth, and they are super pigmented. So the first shade I used was Dream State to set my eyes, and that kind of like blended in with my skin tone, so I can't say much about it. And then I went in with Energy, which is the neon yellow, and I think it works great as a transition shade. It shears out and blends out very nicely, and so does Awakening and Mystique. They both blend out very nicely and they go on very pigmented. And then I went in with Soul, which is the metallic gold, and I have no issues with the metallics in this palette at all. They all are very nice. Ecstasy is the center of lid shade that I'm using, and it also blended out very nicely. It has got like a dark black base, so it kind of like smokes out on its own as you blend it. And then Destiny did have some fallout. It is a black and purple, so it does have a black base as well with some purple glitter, so it kind of looks dark and smoky if you use it on your outer corners, but still it has a purple tint. So I used Ethereal and Manifest as well, and those are metallics that work great. Immortal's a very nice black shade, super pigmented, blends out nicely, spreads well, and yeah, I honestly have nothing bad to say about these shades. I used Haze as a blush, and I think it works really nicely as a blush because it is a mauve tone, and especially on deeper skin tones, this is going to look really nice. But I do love dusty pink kind of blushes, so this is right up my alley. Vibe as a contour or bronzer is kind of like, alright. It isn't my ideal contour or bronzer shade, but it does the job. I wouldn't really use it again to contour my face. And like I said, Phenomenon is a great highlight for your face. It just is a bit too blinding. If you want a blinding highlight and you don't mind, then you can use it. But so far, I think this palette is a good pickup and I totally approve of it. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this review useful. I can't wait to review the other palettes as well. So I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye bye!